The mystery of what some people call twin tuition, a connection that occurs between identical twins and seems to defy explanation. There are certain unexplained phenomena that occur between twins that even modern science simply can't explain. Take the curious case of 7-year-old identical twins Kaylee and Allie from Pennsylvania. They were born just seconds apart and are inseparable, like so many identical twins. But when they were 5, a peculiar incident occurred. The sisters were at a playground. Kaylee was on the trampoline and got hit in the face, suffering a painful black eye.
Her heel hit right here in the eye.
Allie was playing in another area, totally uninjured, but inexplicably, her eye started showing signs of bruising in the exact same place.
Oh my goodness.
Their mother rushed the twins to a nurse who noticed it too. When she got home, she thought it was so strange, she picked up a camera to record it.
Did you get hit by anything?
No.
Does it hurt?
No.
Did one sister telepathically transfer her injury to her twin, or was it just a coincidence? Searching for an explanation to her twins' bruises, their mother, who would not appear on camera for fear of being judged, sought out a self-styled paranormal researcher, Guy Leon Playfair. Playfair wrote a book on twin telepathy called The Psychic Connection. We tracked him down in London to ask him why he's convinced that incidents like the matching black eyes are a result of a telepathic connection.
What makes you so convinced that it's telepathy as opposed to coincidence?
Well, the problem with the coincidence is that explains everything. You see, to some people, that's the end of the story. I don't think you normally get a black eye without being hit by something.
Any suspicion of foul play?
Well, what on earth would be the point? I mean, this is just an ordinary woman describing what happened. It's a Newsweek cover story where they carefully avoided the subject.
For decades, Playfair has collected strange tales and interviewed dozens of twins who are absolutely convinced that they've felt an otherworldly bond. He says there's so much anecdotal evidence, the doubters are simply turning away in fear.
Why are people so afraid of it? Why are people so hostile towards it?
It's partly fear of the unknown. It's fear of going back to a sort of medieval age of superstition and witchcraft and all that sort of nonsense.
Think of it this way. In the womb, identical twins actually start out as one physical being, one embryo, that splits in two during gestation. But perhaps their souls are still entangled, even when their bodies are separate. That's what intrigued us about a story that led us to the English countryside, nearly 2 hours north of London, to the charming town of Lutterworth. Identical twins Andrew and Christopher Watson had exhibited a strange connection from the moment they were born.
Observing Andrew and Christopher was like an object lesson in the human soul, really, because they looked so similar.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi, lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you.
Their mother, Helen Watson, says as newborns, Christopher, the smaller and frailer of the two, battled issues in the ICU. Mysteriously, Andrew, in the other ward, would sympathetically cry out on his brother's behalf.
Andrew would wake up from a very deep sleep and just cry for no good reason. And we would discover later that Christopher had been having a monitor changed or a tube had been put down his throat or something.
As they grew, they seemed to have a sense of when the other was needed without saying a word.
We were so alike. It's just like looking at yourself in a mirror.
At the age of 16, away at a boarding school, Andrew and Christopher were on a country road when their driver hit a truck head-on. Christopher was thrown from a window, landing 20 feet from the wreckage. Andrew, who'd been wearing a seatbelt, ran toward him.
He wasn't moving. He was breathing a little bit, but as I bent down, I just kept poking him, just trying to get him to respond.
After extensive brain surgery, Christopher lingered here in Cheltenham Hospital in a coma. His mother kept vigil at his bedside, his blood pressure elevated. But days later, when Andrew was finally able to visit his brother, something astonishing happened. The doctors, the nurses, everyone noticed.
As soon as Andrew entered the room, Christopher's blood pressure went down. His heart rate settled. We could see the monitors above his bed. And it was so interesting that the lines went from that to that.
The doctors told the family they could keep Christopher's body alive, though he was medically brain dead. But Andrew kept trying to communicate with him the way they always had, without words.
What messages were you trying to send him?
Don't fight it, just let it happen. We're all here for you, 9 times out of 10. He just seemed more relaxed.
And when Andrew was away from his brother's bedside, his mother and sister say they kept seeing something astonishing. Andrew sleeping in the same contorted position as his twin Christopher lay in the hospital bed.
I was just laid out like a starfish, because I normally just sleep on my side. I never sleep on my back. I just remember waking up several times. This is uncomfy. You know?
Uncomfy.
Even when Andrew was not with Christopher, he says he could still sense intuitively, perhaps telepathically, his twin's pain. One night, Andrew was so disturbed, he called his mother to say he felt Christopher was in trouble.
I rang the brain injury unit and the response was, "Thank God you've called. We were just about to ring you. Christopher's having a major epileptic fit."
How did you know?
It was just that feeling where I just could not sit still. I just couldn't concentrate on anything.
Christopher remained in a vegetative state for 4.5 years. Finally, after a 2-year legal battle, the family won the right to withdraw life support. But Andrew says he actually believes that even as Christopher's body clung to life, he sensed his soul departed.
I'd seen him a couple of days before, and I still had that sort of nice, relaxed feeling of spending time with him. And then that next time I went in, nothing.
Nothing.
No.
Even so, Andrew told us the physical connection to his brother lingered.
I had a headache for about 3 days. I thought I'd lost that connection with him. But after a while, and it didn't go away, painkillers or whatever, I was talking to Mum and she said, maybe you haven't lost it.
He now believes that maybe she was right. His headache, he says, went away at the very moment his twin's body finally expired.
And then the phone call from Mum, so...
When he'd passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theirs is a twin bond that may never really be broken.
It's like losing a limb. You learn to live with it, and now it's gone, and I still miss him every day.
I have never been able to work out whether it was literally a psychological bond that was there with the DNA, or whether it was a bond of the spirit.
I mean, we were always close.
You were, indeed.